Mr. Iheije was a loving, dedicated, and hardworking husband and father. Living in the city with his wife and 3 children, he dreamed of giving them a better life. But to achieve that dream, Mr. Iheije made a difficult decision. He left his family behind and moved to another city in search of a better job and brighter opportunities. In the new city, Mr. Iheije stayed with his cousin, a slim, soft-spoken man living alone. Life was tough at first, nights often passed with no food, and there were days without clean water to drink or bathe. But Mr. Iheije held on, fueled by his determination to succeed. Then came the breakthrough he had prayed for, a job that paid far more than he had ever dreamed of. Not only that, but the company provided him with accommodation. Life was finally taking a turn for the better. Grateful for his cousin's kindness, Mr. Iheije invited him to live in his new home and even employed him as one of his team members. Together, they began to build a brighter future. With things finally falling into place, Mr. Iheije took 3 days off to visit his family. He shared the good news, and they celebrated together with joy and gratitude. Their sacrifices had not been in vain. Mr. Iheije had built a comfortable life. His family lived well, his kids attended the best schools, and his wife ran a thriving business. Saturdays were his favorite, spending time with his cousin, watching football, and relaxing in peace. One Saturday, a knock on the gate changed everything. The woman greeted Mr. Iheije with a forced smile, her voice heavy with desperation. "My brother, please help me with anything to feed my children. My husband abandoned us 6 months ago, and we barely eat once a day." He was reluctant, unsure of the woman's story. After a moment, he nodded politely, excused himself, and locked the gate behind him. Inside, he told his cousin about the woman at the gate. But his cousin, focused on his meal, simply shrugged and said nothing. His indifference left Mr. Iheije feeling uneasy. Determined to do something, Mr. Iheije grabbed his wallet and returned to the gate. He handed her some money, enough to buy a meal for her and her children. She thanked him, but her lack of enthusiasm left him uneasy. There was no visible sign of gratitude, no relief in her eyes. As she walked away, Mr. Iheije couldn't shake the feeling that something about the encounter was off. What if her story wasn't entirely true? Or worse, what if it was? The visits became frequent. Every few days, she would return with the same plea, and each time, Mr. Iheije felt more conflicted. She came back again. And again. On the 4th visit, she asked only for water. Mr. Iheije let her in. The woman started unpacking her bag with her children. Mr. Iheije couldn't explain why he allowed it. His cousin returned to find their home taken over, and the discomfort grew unbearable. Eventually, the cousin moved out. Things fell apart. He lost his job, his car broke down, and he sold it to survive. The woman, now the breadwinner, treated him like a maid, cleaning, cooking, and caring for her children. One day, a young boy entered the compound with a neighbor. The boy looked at Mr. Iheije with tears streaming down his face. The neighbor whispered, "This is your son. Don't worry, I've told him everything. Help will come." Mr. Iheije wanted to run after his son but couldn't. Invisible chains held him back. He hadn't sent money to his family or contacted them in 3 years. The life he built was gone. The woman was pregnant. She mocked him for being old, but Mr. Iheije couldn't even remember being intimate with her. He was trapped, his family lost, his life unrecognizable. For 3 years, Mr. Iheije has waited for help that never came. His son never returned. The neighbor disappeared. And the man who once had it all is now a prisoner in his own home. What do you think of Mr. Iheije's story? What could he have done differently? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more gripping stories.